Uh, Welcome to the Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 meeting of Grafton's Accessibility Advisory Commission. I'm Roger Trahan, the chair of the commission, and I call this meeting to order at 6:34. And first thing on the agenda, first thing on the agenda is everyone survived the cold. I'm glad we're all hanging in there. Uh, I have one announcement under the agenda. First item, announcements and reminders. Again, we have two Accessibility Advisory Commission vacancies with terms expiring June 30th of 27 and 28 respectively. I spoke with Select Board Town Administrator's Office this morning, and there were no applications currently in the pipeline. So I guess we could uh, also turn to social media, including All Things Grafton. And Christy, as we had talked about earlier, that was a great handout from that other town
Mhm.
that they had used to drum up, you know, not support, but
It was a recruitment flyer
recruitment for
that I
fly.
saw
Yes,
down at the town of Mansfield Library. So maybe I can look at something like that and create something that with Canva.
yes. Thank you. And then just send it to me, and I'll post it on the various sites and such. Um, Anyone have any other announcements or reminders? I don't have any.
I have two things. I
Please.
did request William to kind of showcase the positions.
Okay.
And also, we received notice this morning that the town of Grafton did get awarded a municipal ADA improvement grant for this
Oh,
year,
oh, wow. Okay.
75,000.
Oh, awesome.
So we will be making improvements to the senior center ramp as well as hopefully a couple other touches around the municipal facility,
All right.
municipal center.
Oh, good. Yeah, that thing that was weird how the front and the back they were poured at the same time, and the front was just crumble zone. So,
With by different people,
yep, yep.
different
And
contractors.
oh,
So
it was okay.
yeah,
All right. So I'm glad to hear that. I was under the impression that those grant awards, that the grant cycle award notifications are going to happen earlier in the year. Um,
we received the notice and then we have to prepare our bid packages, but and then do our final approvals for the items under that grant. But we did receive confirmation. We did
awesome.
apply for that for the last 4 years and we did not receive it till this year.
Oh, good. So I'm hoping that's maybe you just don't give up. So did that
Yeah.
come via email? Are you able to forward that to the commission?
I just have a notification from William,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but I'm sure he'll probably post it on the website. Oh,
That's awesome.
actually, let's see here. I don't see why I can't. Yes, there was a formal notification from Alan Montico, Executive Director,
All right.
FY26. Yep.
All right. I'm just going to take a 20-second recess and put myself on mute. Paul's giving me a call. There may be a technical issue. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Paul, we can see Paul, but he can't. He's not logging in. Or he's having technical difficulties, and I just want to make sure. I mean, without his presence, we don't have a quorum. So I'm gonna put myself on hold one more time and just speak with Paul to try to fix this.
Thank you, Tracy. I just got that.
You're welcome. I only saw my directions, which I took off of there saying, oh, Tracy got the bid package together. We need
Yeah.
to.
But that's great news because we were awarded several years in succession and then it dried up for a while. So,
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because, that's the face, that's what the public sees first thing that they get to the town of Grafton for. So it's
mhm.
unfortunate that something went awry on the original pour, but I'm hopefully going to make sure that it lasts for longer than, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's my
All right.
hope. That's my hope.
All right.
Build it like a garage
Mm.
stem wall or something,
So I'm back, and so Paul, we can see him. He can't see us, but he can communicate verbally. Could you do me a favor, Paul, on your screen? Could you press the raise the hand button or icon, just so if you do have a question, I know you have a question.
Can you try to unmute him
I hold on.
On
by
your
your
end.
power? Yeah.
I'm not sure how to.
So you go to him under the participants, you go to Paul Letourneau and you unmute. See how there's a microphone next to him?
Oh no, there's only ask to unmute.
Oh, thought you could
Yeah, I
force
thought you
unmute.
could too as the host.
Yeah.
I thought so too. Oh, this is frustrating. Um, yeah, I'm unable to, there's no way
There he
to,
Un
is.
unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, finally.
All right.
Jumping Jiminy. It's a good
Okay.
pain in the butt.
All right.
And then the
So
other
Paul,
thing, everyone, is you should be using your closed captions if you can.
yes, yes, I have that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Christy. And so were you able to hear how Tracy had announced that the town was awarded $75,000 from the ADA municipal grant?
Yes, I think
Okay,
that's terrific.
awesome. Did you said you had another announcement, Tracy, or
Just
no?
that William was going to kind of push out the post for the positions that are open. I probably have another announcement. I can't think of anything right at the moment.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Um, and so external correspondence, that kind of kills two birds with one stone because that's kind of external correspondence as well, but it's more of an announcement. And I was actually thinking that that ship had sailed, so I'm really psyched that we got that award. Um,
I have a
and
question.
yes,
Have
Paul.
have we taken a poll to open the meeting?
Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. I opened the meeting and I hadn't just said, all right,
Oh, okay.
just as to who's here and that we're all accounted for. Christy, you're on mute.
Here.
Yeah, and Tracy.
Hi.
Yeah, Paul,
Yes.
Roger. Yeah, here. I think it was self-evident that everything was in working order and John's with us, and so you formalized it. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
So now moving on to item 3, web content accessibility guidelines. We welcome John Pugh from Civic Plus to share information on ways in the services that they provide to bring our various websites to compliance. So welcome, John.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Accessibility Advisory Commission, for allowing me to speak and to speak to adding a higher level of ADA accessibility to the website. Um, let me, I'm going to share my screen. So then, let's see here. I'll grab this because I'm going to actually show the tool in action. So I'm looking at the Town of Grafton website. Can you see that?
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to I'm going to move to Plymouth, Mass, and you guys can see that. And I'm going to
Yes.
be talking about anytime you see a stick figure on a website, it usually means a higher level of ADA accessibility is associated with that website. Our tool is blue. It's a blue stick figure. It's called AudioEye, and it usually sits on the lower right-hand corner like this. And I'll show you some other sites. Um, AudioEye is a subscription-based service with an approximately 100-day implementation period to achieve the AudioEye certification from when it goes on your site till it certifies your site. Civic Plus is partnered with AudioEye in the local government sector and offers the solution on an annual basis. AudioEye agreements are year-to-year subscriptions. And it typically aligns with the website annual. We can kind of go into that or details. I can talk to William and Tracy about that. The value of AudioEye comes in three pieces. Above and beyond the service to your community, an extra layer of protection against lawsuits, future-proofing your website, enhancements for that demographic. So let me and you guys can do this on your own anytime. I'm going to click on this blue stick figure. So one thing you get with AudioEye is these 12 items. I can enhance the website instantly. Anytime I go to Plymouth, I have a bigger cursor and larger font. I can keep on pushing text size 3 times and get even that larger. So I can, every time I come back to Grafton and I have those pieces clicked, it's automatically there. I don't have to do any adjustments. So it's 12 items here. You see on the lower left where it says trusted certification here?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to click that, and you guys can do this on your own also. So this is what you get. This is actually what you're paying for. It says this is trusted by AudioEye, and right here in the middle, to accessibility guidelines WCAG 2.2 levels, A and AA. AudioEye activation is complete. Testing and discovery is ongoing with continuous monitoring. So what does that mean? This is a set it and forget it tool. Tracy or anybody else associated with a website does not have to do anything with this tool. It doesn't bring issues to their attention and have it back in where you have to go in and fix items. It's automatically fixing it on the website instantly over the next month, 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years that you have it. And there's other staff members putting stuff on the website. It'll fix errors to WCAG 2.2 levels. So I'm going to scroll down here. So the third item it does, there's a report an issue. If I have an issue with your website and I see something that seems to be out of a line, I can click on that, fill out these 4 boxes or 5 boxes, and hit submit. Does it go to Tracy? No,
No.
it goes to AudioEye. AudioEye will reply to me in a professional manner on whatever I concluded here. So if I click off of this, it has a check mark by the blue stick figure because I have these items fixed.
Okay.
If I jump to like Natick, here's it in the lower left-hand or right-hand corner, there is no check mark. I don't have any enhancements on a toolbar, but it is working.
So
Now,
if you could,
Yep.
click on those items, 12 items again,
Yep.
just because of my screen, it's shrunk even further. What
Yep.
if you could just read off exactly the words in those boxes as far as
let me go to, I think I have something up here to help you out. Can you see this, Roger?
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
this, and I've sent this to Tracy, but it shows you that box in the middle, right? So that's really what it's showing. And this gives you a more highlight, focus, cursor, highlight, contrast, animation, color shift, spacing, text size, font, guide. It'll read the website kind of in alignment. Window images, and it kind of tells you what those things do. Now, if John Pugh has a disability, I probably have equipment at my house, right? So I might have some of these things already fixed. I might have bigger font, right? My equipment might be reading your website. There's a bunch of stuff. Not everybody has tools. I'm getting older. I like a bigger cursor and larger font because, I got contacts, but so those things help. There now within the website, I call it, there are some guardrails that Tracy and staff have. You can't submit a picture onto your website without putting an alt tag on it. Our system currently inside of it will not let you do it. You can't just put a picture in zero because it has to read that, screen readers have to read your images.
So someone has to manually then describe it in their own terms of what it is. I know that this sort of certain vernacular that I see that is sort of more formal, unique language than we would normally speak. There's a certain similarity that I see in the way these various pictures are described, whether it's on social media or on a website. How does that work?
Well, it's that's where education happens at the staff level, right? If I was a Parks and Rec director in town and I had 3 pictures that I was putting up on the website and I was running to a meeting quickly, I could put down Park 1, 2, and 3. And it would go through the system because there's an alt tag on that. Is that high? Is that even a high level of ADA compliance? No. Now, it should say dog catching a frisbee in Memorial Park, right? Or this should say Christmas tree lighting in downtown Plymouth or whatever this is. That picture. Those pieces. Now, what this is doing, if you have bad alt tags, what this is doing is going to put an alt tag from, like AI, kind of on your website, which will enhance that, right? It should help to fix those.
So
There's a lot of gray area, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there's some gray area.
And the reason I ask is that these aren't always intuitive as far as what level of detail, like when you said, the frisbee in the park with a bunch of trees in the background, like how, and a small child to the right, like how much in detail do we need to get? And if we're not sure, these assistive AI type of things, do they intuitively know what level of detail is the minimum to describe a picture?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on describing a picture, but it's always, there's a diameter of too long of a description, right? With reading the picture, right? It's, you're supposed to describe that picture in a relatively low amount of lines.
Okay. All right.
As concise as you can, in other words.
Okay.
Right. It gets tricky because you don't want to over explain it, and then the person reading those pictures is, I get it, right?
Well, are there not certain things that are evident in any picture that don't need descriptions?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. It should say, if it's, it could be just, it depends on what kind of pictures you have. I'll just kind of click over here.
Okay.
What is this in Wareham? I don't know. I've been there, but I don't know what this is. This is typically, the downtown, and this is a beach, right? Downtown Snyder Park Pier. It should be simple like that to describe it. And then it's going to go into another picture on those pieces. But I think it's part of education. It's part of making the alt tags bigger. There's guardrails within the website. Civic Plus website is a higher ADA compliant website than a lot of your neighbors that are getting in trouble with this. I used to cover Florida, and it was one of the top 4 lawsuits states in the nation, just because there were groups associated with attorneys, and they were going after municipalities. So it all kind of depends. But so it's a higher level. The nice thing about this tool is actually on the AudioEye website. Because AudioEye, we are a partner with this company. We represent them in the municipal world, but outside of that, you'll see that blue stick figure there on dealerships, hotels, state, local, or state governments or federal. If you ever have issues, their attorneys will draft the first letters with your attorneys. They stand behind the product so adamant that this is actually on their website. As this higher level. Now, one thing I'll call out, Roger and crew, is it's not automatically fixing everything, right? There's some other issues on the website. PDFs are a whole nother kind of ordeal, because PDFs aren't ADA accessible, right? There's pieces in the DOJ guidelines that there's tools out there to make a PDF more accessible. You have to go into PDFs, and then future PDFs you have to fix, or how many PDFs are you going to put up on the website. So items like that, AudioEye isn't miraculously fixing. That's a whole nother endeavor. I just want to bring that up. But there's other ADA issues on your website with structure, right? And these are all very important. Header 1s, header 2s. If I want to find, green community announcement, it's under energy and environment. I click here, click here, click here, right? There's another piece to that of structure that's in ADA compliance that this is kind of fixing in the background.
I think Christy has something.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's Christy, I'm sorry. I didn't see the
That's
little orange
okay.
hand.
I have a few questions. So John, I'm working on this for our college, our community college. So I just have a few questions. And one of them I was going to ask about PDFs, because I opened my screen reader and I'm using Read and Write or Text Help from Read and Write from Text Help. I have version 14. And instead of reading the information about the Stop and Swap special holiday opening on the Plymouth town site, it instead said, "This site is enabled by AudioEye. Please use the icon to open the options and select." So it was interesting, so that instead of getting the Read and Write to implement, AudioEye overrode it and said, "Here's how we do this." So that was interesting. The other thing I noticed is that AudioEye is at 2.2 level standards, which is above what we're required through the ADA. So I'm really pleased to see that. And then I was going to try to use my screen reader to read the alt text, but I believe I can only do that through AudioEye. So I'll try that next. But I'm just having fun testing this. This looks
that's great comments. And one thing I'll bring up, it gets asked, there is not a voice player on here. There used to be back in the day, but a voice player was like double voicing and echoing on people's voice. So they actually removed it, because most people that have voice have equipment that is doing voice, or there's another plug-in on the website to read it. So it was kind of like echoing, and people would have to come back. As you say that, they would probably have to turn this off or something. So voice is not on here, and they've just kind of tweaked that over. Probably for a good year and a half, they have taken that off.
So John, I have a question. So Civic Plus is the town's vendor for its web?
Yeah, Civic, yep,
okay.
For this, yep.
All right. And so when you are making enhancements, is that seamless, meaning that it's not going, as you're doing improvements in one area, it won't adversely impact the functionality of another area?
Your staff, I don't know how it is in Grafton, but the staff of Grafton is making changes to the website. We're hosting, we developed it, we were there in the beginning. They go in and change everything on the website, pictures, content. They can even move out some icons around. So your staff is currently doing that. There could be one person, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, who knows?
So does that person, Christy, did you still have a question?
Yeah, I have one more question
Yeah, please.
related to it. I thought of it after I had thought of it beforehand and forgot to ask it. So, John, I know accessibility of PDFs is huge, and that's probably going to be a standalone tool that everyone's going to be purchasing. And when you have a department upload a video and the video is not closed captioned, will AudioEye do that? Will they be a third as another party that allows that to be transcribed and placed as captioning for a video to play? Or as AudioEye, do you say, no, this video can't go up because it's not compliant and doesn't have closed captioning?
Great question. I would answer that maybe a couple different ways. On the website, when you're putting content in paragraphs of it, there is just like you can bold an item or make an item a link, there's an accessibility checker. There's actually a stick figure in the box that you can check what you throw into the box.
Okay.
Now, would it grab that, or it might highlight it? But you as a staff person would have to fix that.
Right.
AudioEye would not automatically, like you put a video up there that has no closed captioning, you would have to catch that as a staff level, right? So that, and then AudioEye wouldn't be able to go in there and put closed captioning on a video. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. It should pull that up in the box and say, double check this. But if you just exit out of that box and move on with your day and don't fix it, then it gets up on the website.
Right. So would Grafton need to appoint someone to be that gatekeeper, for lack of a better term, because we're coming up against that with our content as well?
There's a permission level with the website. I don't know how it's set up in Grafton, but maybe only department heads can actually make stuff go live. So if I worked for you, Christy, I could change stuff and I would send it to you. You can double check my work before you make it go live. So I would kind of watch that structure of permissions, and like department heads have to kind of watch items a little bit, better.
Right, because believe me, everyone who's a lawyer is warning us about this is going to be the most important part of the implementation, that we really have to archive what's inaccessible, and only things that are accessible get to go up. And we're trying to determine who and how that looks,
It gets tricky. I had a town in Florida that took every single PDF off their website to keep it accessible. They just
right. And people are doing that. They're not the only ones.
Yeah. So it depends on now you've read the DOJ guidelines, right? There's a behavior of a good behavior in getting more ADA accessible, right? So I think this is a piece of that. Internal education, a Civic Plus website is better than, Joe Vendor from, middle of the mass that has a website company. I think all those, there's a lot of internal conversations happening.
If I could interrupt everyone, I noticed Catherine Dupuy probably maybe 10 minutes ago had logged in. So welcome, Catherine. I just wanted to make sure that you can hear everyone okay.
Yes, I can. I was in at 6:48, just for the records.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, please continue, John.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to say.
I have a couple comments. So I wanted you here also to confirm with, our town's compliance at this moment. So as far as now, today's standards versus the 2.1 AA standards that we're going to need within the next few years. So those milestone dates, are we up to the standard of today? And then what does the process look like to ensure that the standard is met at those deadlines?
That's a question for me,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes, because that's why I invited you here, because there was a question, is our municipal website, because we do have other town websites that you aren't under your control. So I just want to get it from you. Are you fully in compliance at this moment? And what is the plan for the future to meet the compliance, the standards that are placed on us from the DOJ?
You'll notice on like AudioEye 2.1, they'll probably always stay ahead of the standard just because that's their that's their business. The standard is WCAG 2.1. So when when this website when your website was released, yes, I mean for WCAG 2.1 standards, right? Now depends on how much stuff that you have put on the website. If you put videos on there with not closed captioning, right? There's gray issues with, once it's released, then you guys are putting things on the website. So you have to be, there's a higher level of compliance that you have to kind of watch yourself with. Now, you have PDFs on the website. Is that compliant? No. I mean, purely no. A PDF that is not accessible is not compliant.
So John and maybe Christy may know this. What is the alternative to PDF then?
Well, there's equipment and tools to make a PDF accessible.
Yeah, but there's no alternative to PDF.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft's making quite a bit of money, and so is Adobe and other places. But to make an accessible PDF, it actually allows for it to be then manipulated, which is really tough. So, so the screen readers that you want to get, like we have a Firefox. What's it called? I'm just going to call it PDF reader, but it's Firefox. I'm just going to say that it's cost prohibitive and only certain people at the college have access to it. They can't make it accessible as an institutional license because it's just, like I said, it hopefully it will become, as demand for it grows, I hope it becomes more affordable. But in the meantime, there are ways to create accessible PDFs, but that means they're allowed to be manipulated, which is what you don't want to have happen with certain documents that need to stay in its static form.
And I'll mention that municipalities are between a rock and a hard place because on one hand, where DOJ is saying, well, you can't keep content on, such as PDFs, because it's inaccessible, and then the Mass Attorney the Attorney General's Office of Mass, enforcing the Mass Open Meeting Law, is saying that you must have. I mean, this would render right now. Back in the day, it was paper, right? There would be a posting of all the various meetings as stamped in by the clerk in the municipal center, and then as backup, it was the town website. Now the town website can actually serve as the primary source of a meeting posting. And those meeting postings are necessarily in PDF form, okay? And that's how basically that if they're not submitted in PDF and they're submitted in Word, they end up on the website in PDF. And we wouldn't be able to have, it would essentially shut down the ability to have any public meetings because they're all posted in PDF, and the meeting packets are as well, and everything of that nature. So, you know, we have to abide by the open meeting law guidelines to even function and have any municipal meetings, because there's the notice requirements, which are necessarily in an inaccessible format. So it's a catch-22 situation. The feds are saying one thing, Mass Attorney General's office enforcing the open meeting law is saying something else. And so we're stuck in the middle. So,
well, to be truly accessible as a PDF, you have to tag it. Okay. So
okay.
imagine like tagging the entire document. It's like reprinting it and just having it as a notepad version. I mean, you can throw it into Word, but then it's not a PDF and it's editable. You don't know when you're converting it back if it's still the same document, right?
Right.
So it's so hard for that original source file to not be exported. But see, as soon as you tag it and you have that reading order, say you have a screen reader come into play, it might break existing tags to read it. So it's not even going to be really, like John was saying before, you have a finite space for doing tags. But if you have to recreate the document as an entire tag, that's going to affect accessibility. So you're right. It's very, it's a very, like you just keep going in circles with some of this. But I know a lot of people for workflow reasons use a PDF. They alter it, they enter the information, then they save it again, like financial aid documents, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But we're talking about, when we say accessibility, that it can be edited and it goes against everything that we are trying to do, keeping things legal. Compliant is going to go butt heads with this in a big way.
So, John, of the towns that I see listed in the email, well, you didn't have access to it. It was the meeting packet. I had included the email chain regarding the pricing and everything like that. That is actually part of our meeting packet tonight and can be shared about the pricing and everything. Of those towns that you list, and there were about more than a dozen of them, are any on their way to addressing this PDF issue? And regardless, what would your recommendation be for addressing, or countering the need to just basically remove content?
I think they're doing it in stages and depends on budget, right? So there's we have like two forms of, and this is like any other, we have two forms of PDF remediation. One is you do it yourself. Christy brought this up. There's I think it's per license. Like you would have to designate one person to fix PDFs. And it goes per license. It's an Adobe, and then you have to go in there and fix those PDFs and kind of do some self tutorials and learn. And but I think that's something like it's like $1,500 a license to, and then you have to do that. You have to do that as a staff. Now you can get that outside of us. You can, maybe, buy bulk and get 5 licenses so no one's breaking their back and doing all the PDF work. And then there's more expensive tools where they'll do pages of work for you. You send your pages to a company and they'll make them accessible and they'll give it back to you. And they'll do maybe 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000 pages a year and bill you for doing that. And then you send it in buckets. So there's probably more and more companies that are going to do that for you. And then, so it gets a little bit tricky on, what you want to tackle and then who's going to tackle it in town. Since you have one user license, you could spend, $6,000 pretty easy on 4 people, right? And then Audio Eye is 4,500 a year. It's an annual service. It's just, blanket. It's an annual service to do that. So it depends on what you want and how much effort you want to go at it right now, who's going to do it. I bring this up because there's other tools out there that you could pay for annually, other vendors that bring things to your attention. Then you as a staff have to fix it. I don't recommend those because I talk to those people all day long and they say, hey, John left a year ago and no one's fixed anything on the website in a year, or I don't have a login to see the back end of where our issues are, and I don't even know how to go in and fix things. So there's different tools out there. There's different tools out there that have just a toolbar, to be quite honest. There's companies that will just give you this toolbar.
Okay.
For a cheaper price than $4,500 annually. Now, technically, is that tool doing anything for ADA accessibility? A little bit, but it's not fixing any content on your website. It's not fixing anything.
And I would say the bulk of the data on our website are further links to PDFs and such. And so there are certain links to other websites, like some of the information that we have regarding various services, state and federal services and local services. But I think of every set of minutes, every document, I think of, planning board, the Conservation Commission, even our own committee, there's probably tens of thousands of pages. Even our annual town reports above 300 pages. And so there's probably tens of thousands of pages of PDFs, not tens of thousands of documents necessarily, but tens of thousands of pages, easy, going back to 2015, 2016. Every finance report of any person who ran for office, to every study.
Well, on that, Roger, I think there's a piece of the DOJ that you don't have to go backwards, right? You have to double check this. I'm not the perfect expert for it, but there's pieces of the DOJ that are not making you go back, so many years. You have to kind of, moving forward, you have to be better, right?
But my understanding from what you said is that they would force you to remove the content.
I think that's just a mentality of some municipalities that that don't want, hey, if there's lawsuits in my community about PDFs, then I'm just going to take them down. And that was just because I dealt with a higher line.
And I can confirm what John's saying, because a lot of colleges are archiving more material than you can imagine in order to circumvent any complaints that would be coming because their materials are inaccessible. So here's when they would have to be accessible. So say someone wants to find out in 2018 what was the town report. When you make that available, it has to be accessible. If it were to be available through the website. Or if you were to send it via email, it has to be accessible. Okay. So at the time it's being produced or coming out of archival places, it would have to be accessible.
So it's not a DOJ mandate to remove it. It's just risk-averse communities are saying it's easier to just remove and archive content.
Risk aversion.
They want you to archive it off of, you have to go in and archive it. And there's things with the website you can do that. You can archive a lot of documents. That's for free, right? There's some things that you can do very helpful for ADA accessibility. You can see your website. You can scroll down here. We built this page, right? It's important, right? If I click here just for accessibility, it talks to the website, and then there's a contact us. I always recommend this goes to a staff directory. Yes, if you have a person handling ADA accessibility, I would make that go to a page here and say, hey, John Pugh handles accessibility. Here's my number and email. This is my title, and this is how to get a hold of me. Otherwise, I have to go in here and try to find who, if I have issues and I want them addressed, it's going to be hard for me to go in here and find them. So if you make that findability a little bit easier, that's just something that you could do as a town to make that just a little bit better
Right.
avenue for help.
Okay. And as far as the and Christy, I'll weigh in on you to answer this. There was a town that we had talked about a few meetings about accessibility issues, and their icon was like a neon green wheelchair, and there was
Northampton.
okay, so looking at Northampton's website and the cubes, the icons that they have of like ADHD friendly or superimposed screens that make things more readable. Does Audio Eye do that? And I'm going to have Christy click on Northampton's the little green icon. It's so highlight
Can you
links.
see that? I just pulled them up. This is Civic Plus website. This is just another vendor,
So in other words, so Civic Plus doesn't force cities and towns to use its accessibility product to interface with it?
Nope, just like you guys are using Code Red for your emergency platform,
Okay.
for tornadoes and hurricanes and weather. You can use anybody and we'll kind of plug it in and make it work. There's a lot of, I call it third party, Roger. I could click on your website. I could go to, maybe 5, 10 different third party
Gotcha.
sites to, maybe how I pay, hey, I go for a dog license and I click this button, I go to UniPay. That's not Civic Plus. It's, another vendor. But yeah, this is UserWay. I don't believe UserWay is fixing anything. This is a toolbar, similar.
Right.
It doesn't say
But does it
anything
have like dyslexia friendly hide images? Is there the ability of Audio Eye or some other part of Civic Plus's products that allow a user to view a screen in a particular way according to their need? Looking at this, not putting you on the spot, but putting you on
No,
the
I
spot.
don't. Yeah, they might have a different kind of box here. They look like it's a similar. It says dyslexia. Ours has the same, I believe.
Okay.
It changes the font around. You can see if I click on this, I could probably click another way, and it just does it differently. It gives
highlighting links.
Line height, align dictionary. I don't know what all these do, but it's similar structure to ours.
In other words, I think as we embark on this, as much as the DOJ is saying, well, you need to do this minimum. I can only speak for myself, and I think the others would agree that we would want to make things as user-friendly as possible to capture as wide an audience as possible, even if the DOJ is not saying that you need to have these particular features that Northampton has. And so
there's dyslexia. I'm just clicking this font.
Okay.
This font goes to sans and then dyslexic. So there's all different pieces of this.
So does Audio Eye have those features or these features that Northampton has?
It seems like it does.
Okay.
Bigger text align dictionary, saturation, text spacing, bigger text, pause, animation. Are you pausing something on here? Maybe pausing a video on here. I don't know what that actually does. I can play with it, but I don't think for Audio Eye, I don't know if there's a pause button with anything.
And is each well, I guess maybe license is not the right word, but the pricing of Audio Eye, I think it was Tracy had mentioned, we have the grafton-ma.gov website, and then there's hyperlinks to external websites for the Grafton Public Schools, the Grafton Police Department, and the Grafton Public Library. So those would those not fall under
It follows this URL. It'll only fix this URL. Yeah, anything outside of that, we are going to another third party. Like if you said like if I click something and I go to schools,
Yes.
yeah, I'm going to the school.
Right.
I'm going to the library. Or if the police department is a third party vendor, then you just have to ask questions. What are you guys doing for ADA accessibility, right? On
Right.
that website, or schools, or the library.
Right.
Now, it's where I mean, ultimately it gets tricky, right? You can still get in trouble with a library website that is pretty cheap and they haven't changed it in 10 years, but they like it, but it's really not highly ADA accessible. You could do everything you want to do as a town and then have a lawsuit come in towards your library.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, right? All the time. It's just like, I've seen it where people go after your buildings or your accessibility into your buildings, and all of a sudden a lawyer looks around at the website and everything else around the town. How is everything else being handled, right? This building has issues. And then, they start just looking at plugging away at different things. So it gets tricky, right? We've negotiated this price down on the open market. This is like 5 times higher. $4,500 for insurance is relatively cheap. Compared to a lawsuit. I mean, this is population based. You guys are a lower population, so that's how we kind of price this tool. But outside the, private sector, this is like a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year cost. We have a lot of clients. We have 14,000, we have 10,000 website clients. We've negotiated this for 20 years with AudioEye. So we feel it's great. We feel it's a very reasonable tool as you're trying to, be better accessibility wise.
But potentially we would need, as a town, as an umbrella, we would need 4 different contracts basically to tackle those additional links.
We don't like schools. I wouldn't be, I don't sell audio out of schools or that, it depends on what third party you're needing help with, right? I can say town for sure. It gets tricky because within Civic Plus we sell AudioEye. I can't just sell AudioEye to any URL out there that you're using, right?
Oh, so in other words, so it has to be so if Civic Plus, hypothetically, if Civic Plus, let's say the Grafton schools had Civic Plus, right?
Yeah.
You would be able to sell AudioEye because it's interfacing with Civic Plus, but
yeah.
That's only hypothetical to you actually selling that Civic Plus to a school. But you're saying you can't just tag AudioEye.
That's outside our niche. We just
okay.
We want it. The schools might have to. Maybe there's another third party that they would use for accessibility to be more accessible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just grafton-ma.gov content.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I ask a couple questions? Sorry.
Yep. Go ahead,
Tracy.
Because I don't think that my initial question was answered yet. And I'm noticing that the wording is very particular. They say our website has been designed with the following accessibility guidelines in mind. We work to comply. So what is the actual law? Are you just doing the best you can possibly do? What is I'm seeing all the websites have that type of wording. So you can't, it scares me a little bit because you're saying, I know many people that have access that change the website from the town hall employees. So it's making me a little bit concerned that there's not follow-up, and then especially that link saying contact us. And I'm not sure, like, John, as far as your company's role, what is the service plan or what is covered from your company if there isn't these checks and balances on, our compliance?
No, great question, Tracy. Content is the responsibility of the client.
Okay.
I mean, it's whatever you put up on the website and how you put it up on the website and what you're adding to the website is the responsibility of the town.
Okay. So when you set up this website and you got to this portion, website accessibility, so there was no assistance. So what is your company doing for the website?
Colors, fonts, size, dyslexia, color contrast, all those pieces to, design nature of the website is what we're looking at.
Okay.
We're not
Okay.
content gets tricky, right? Because
So you're not
we release it.
technically, yeah, the webmaster is not technically, you're not technically a webmaster, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. And then that's where it gets tricky. You have, yeah, I mean,
I don't
you have a
see,
lot of people adding content to your website over the next year or two or three, and
yeah,
nothing's being checked, or people are good and people are average and people are bad, and then
yeah,
it goes on the website.
correct. So what was the training like? And do you have ongoing training for, making changes to the website to kind of, I mean, so you
Originally
just
there
said,
was originally when like for the website there was training. There was training on the CMS, how to add things, how to do things, how to add content, add um ongoing training. You can purchase extra training. We have trainers and consultants, and now if you need accessibility help, do we technically, I mean, we can cover it in training. Do we have a formal accessibility training? Not necessarily. Will we in the future? Probably. Um,
okay, so for an instance, because we talked a lot about, lawsuits and all that. So today I want to file a lawsuit, but we have this wording saying, first of all, it's the 2.0 A and AA. So we work to comply with. Why would I have a chance at a lawsuit if those words, like, this is not a guarantee? I mean, I just don't know. I know the people in Florida because they actually made a phone call to a company that I was working for. So I remember those times. But it appears like, and I checked, like spot checked a couple websites, and they're all saying, we work to, we do our best to comply. I'm on Lexington, which is, they have their own IT department. They have four goals. We are actively working to increase the accessibility, and they're at the 2.1 AA standard. So I'm just wondering, what is the actual bar that we're trying to get to if we have multiple people uploading things? We have, that they don't realize that they're not supposed to be uploading something, and then you have someone trying to file a lawsuit.
hard to answer, right? It's tricky. I'm not.
Well,
I,
I suppose,
Christy can help answer.
yeah. So before I go, and also we have, like, the solution for those PDFs is replacing PDFs with web pages. So they have actually auditing our PDFs using WebAIM's Wave tool to audit web pages and creating new policies and procedures for audio content. So Lexington has found a way to take care of that PDF issue the best they can to comply and the closest possible. I just, when you have so many people,
That's a way to put it, right? Highly ADA compliant. You can't say you would be wrong to say your site's 100% ADA compliance. Any
right?
vendor that says it's a tricky deal, right? You have to
Yeah.
read through, 40 pages on the DOJ website to get to what they are actually asking for, right? So
Yeah. And you're saying the little guy is not actually making us more compliant because we've got all these PDFs that are illegal on our website and they continue to be uploaded illegally.
yeah,
And
on the PDF side, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So no matter what, somebody could say that it's not accessible and file a lawsuit. When if we have one PDF on our website.
So I'm going to interrupt here for a second. I certainly appreciate transparency and talking about the issues, but I would caution us on commentary which sort of represents what our sort of win-loss ratio may be regarding our liabilities.
Well, we've been talking about that for half an hour.
No, I know that, and it just occurred
And
to me that
so
we have been, and I know, and so it's just one of those things where, it's probably not a best practice to sort of
well, this is why we
advertise.
want to comply.
I know that.
So
And
if I
so
can just add 2 cents, I was around in 1990 when ADA was passed. Okay. It has now been 35 years and we are not 100% ADA compliant, let alone with the physical environment. Okay. So just keep that in mind for perspective.
Yeah.
For the digital environment, what I think is happening is that a lot of people will not be compliant by the deadline, but we're supposed to have plans to be working towards that goal, which again harkens back. We had 2 years from 1990 to 92 to develop plans for accessibility. So I think one of the things that we always message is that we are 100% compliant. So by backing that language back to we are working towards or we are attempting to, and if we can be accessible 70% of the time and reach the broadest nature of disability need, that would be an excellent goal to strive for. Again, universal design, we're trying to go for the broadest number of people to be using our services, our programs without needing an accommodation. So right, like what John's saying, we can never ensure 100% compliance because there'll always be someone or some need that is so elevated, we'll never be able to do it because it's such a low incidence disability. So I think that, what we're trying to do with some of these software tools is make us more accessible. And really, you want to spend money to get the best return on your investment, but at the same time, understand that there is no one tool fits all. Microsoft Word is the largest word processor, across the universe, and they still can't get accessibility right. So, we're going to try to look at this and understand that, like John said, the Audio Eye is one tool. There's lots of tools out there. What we'll have to do is really possibly ask for an accessibility audit of some of our tools that we use on many levels and see what they recommend for priorities. And if the website, which I'm sure will be a big priority, comes out and they say, here, this is what we need to do to remediate it, then we spend that money and do it. And then the last thing I would say is we have such a robust training program. We're having Accessibility Fest next month. We have been doing training since last April on how to create accessible PDFs, emails, Kaltura Media, captioning. I mean, it's all over the place, but many places are. And I think Grafton's going to have to figure this out and get a plan together for training staff. Because like John said, their responsibility, they're not policing the website. Someone on the Grafton side has to be doing that and ensuring that the content going up is accessible.
So Christy, and then to John and John, if someone uploads something in the wrong font, is Audio Eye going to fix that? Is it
No,
called
Yeah,
that
detention?
would be-
Fix it.
or
that
puts
would be
like a header
Grafton.
2, or puts a header 2 instead of a header 1. Yeah, that's what it's going to fix.
Okay.
You should have a header before, like, hey, dog license, animal control. Then it's $25. There's a layout. We could go over for like there's contrast, there's use of color, there, all that kind of stuff. It's order, so it would catch that.
Okay. So, but we'd have to manually change
The
it. It's not
website
going
is
to
kind of
auto.
locked down. I'm kind of
Okay.
talking over myself, but there's parts of the website that's locked down. Me as a department head, I can't go in there and change it to 24 font and pink because it's been locked down from the front as a higher accessibility website. No
Okay.
one just can go rogue in the website and put up anything they want to. It'll even if they cut and paste something and then throw it on the website, it'll be 12 font, uh, Apatos or something like that. Whatever
So
you.
it only
in the beginning.
warns the person who's uploading it in real time that they need to do certain things to make that accessible. Once they post it, it's locked, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's out there. It's released.
Gotcha. Okay. So just to sort of wrap this up, John and Tracy, will you be? I mean, I know that William is he's in charge of this thing, right, Tracy?
Yes, I believe William is. He's
So-
told me he is. Yes.
How should we end this conversation, or end this particular
I
conversation
think
and
John and I
continue
and
it?
William will have a conversation
Okay.
about next steps.
Okay. And it's only, specific to the municipal website. And I guess as a commission, we'll have to maybe at some other time, hopefully sooner rather than later, tackle the other 3 websites in town as far as, researching who their vendors are and, what's being done to make those particular websites, police, school, and library, accessible.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, John, so much.
Thank you,
Thank you for
John,
your
for being
time.
with us.
Thank you,
We'll
John.
be in contact.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tracy.
I look
Thanks, team.
forward to
Yep.
working with you on this.
You got it. All right.
challenge.
Have a great evening.
All right. You have a
Bye.
great
You
evening.
too.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, that was a good conversation. I think there is so much to know, and
Mhm.
yeah, there's so much to know and so much to do, and you can never tackle this stuff too early. So, all right, moving forward with the next agenda item. All right, dementia-friendly Grafton. Tracy's presentation. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Let me just get ready here.
And if you could tee it up as to sort of a little bit of the history and then roll away.
Okay. Hopefully, can everyone see my screen? It looks good
says
to everyone?
Not yet. Now we
Yes.
can.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I can do the closed captioning.
No, it's on.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Oh.
can see it. Well, I have it up on my screen.
Oh, okay. I thought I could do that just with a button, but I guess not. Okay. All right, so I will go back. Oh. Here we go. So, Christy, you might need to turn yours off if you can still see mine.
No, I can see both. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, good. More the merrier.
Yeah.
So Shannon from the senior center had provided this to us. She has moved on to another position. So she shared this with us. We did an in-town for the employees to be certified as dementia friendly. And I'll just start off with building a community that understands, respects, and support those living with dementia and their loved ones. The mission and vision initiative is to create a community that meets the needs of those living with dementia and their care partners through community education programs and outreach efforts. So that was part of the outreach effort was to get every employee that was available in the town hall to go through this training. Our vision is to create an inclusive and welcoming community that provides support and encourages independence and community involvement for those living with dementia and their care partners. So we have a couple goals. Dementia Friendly Grafton works to ensure individuals living with dementia and those who care for them feel supported and included. So the initiative focused on educating the community to reduce stigma and build understanding. So that's one of the main goals of this certification. Improving access to services in dementia-friendly spaces, fostering partnerships with local organizations and leaders, encouraging social connection and meaningful engagement for all. So sessions conducted with the senior center participants went before us. I guess there was 24 participants, and then the town employees, which I was part of, 31 participants. So we reported to the Dementia Friends Massachusetts. So here's the 24 at the senior center, and they had their little "We Are Dementia Friends" sign. And then we have this, and I was holding a tiny dog, which was very nice.
That's awesome.
So that's all municipal workers. Action team and action plan. Members of the action team meant to create an action plan. So that was Shannon and her staff. The team identified important needs in the community based on feedback from the community survey and conversations with community members. The action plan includes interventions that will provide education and support to those living with dementia and their family caregivers. Examples of the interventions include providing community awareness, education, and resources, which is what we're doing right now. Dementia-friendly reading materials, audiobooks at the Grafton Public Library, pamphlets with dementia resources, Dementia Friends education sessions. And then another type of intervention was collaborating with town leadership and community resources, first responders to complete mandatory annual dementia training, and utilize social media to promote dementia-friendly activities. So there's some additional goals: memory cafe, respite program, caregiver support group, database for first responders, which provides emergency contact info, photo, list of medications, important health information, spare key location for town residents to use when responding to emergency calls. Quilting group to create fidget blankets, collaborate with local businesses to ensure they are dementia friendly, utilize Grafton High School students to distribute the information. Hopefully they're volunteering on that. And are there any questions?
So thank you, Tracy, for doing this. As far as so we're dementia friendly, or we're shooting for that? In other words,
we are a dementia friendly community. So
okay, so
when we go to our website,
yeah, I was looking on the Council on Aging Senior Center. It said working towards becoming a dementia friendly community. So I guess that is something that would need updating. So
just if you could give me 1 second. Oh, my taskbar. So we did have that in our newsletter.
And while you're looking for that, Tracy, how long are we certified for?
I think it's an indefinite time.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. I think, we have the materials that we circulate, and let's see here. So we have the signed pledge. Oh, that's not going to show me, but we have a newsletter that I believe we posted that it had the dementia friendly, probably in August.
I'd seen that.
Did you see the one making the announcement?
Um,
I've got
yes,
a few
yes.
too many tabs open.
Look at all those look at all those PDFs.
Don't look away. Look
Look
away.
I know.
Hey, I didn't feel so bad with my tabs because John had more than me.
Right. No, I'll tell you,
I-
PDFs, they're just so universal right now,
yeah.
you know. Uh,
So we had the kickoff, and then I believe in September the announcement was made. So maybe I believe that there was a website, but maybe it was just the newsletter. Huh. Uh, we have that right there. And I thought it was in here, but I cannot locate it right now. I'm sure I will in a little bit. So, town news? Nope. Announcements. Yeah, it was somewhere. Oh, here it is. We are pleased to announce that Grafton is now officially a dementia-friendly community. And then there's the action plan.
awesome. So does that include any identified ongoing trainings, or is that one of the goals to then land on continuing to educate the staff and I guess public through various media?
It appears that the first responders have an annual certification. And
Okay.
then we were talking about doing an event at the library.
Okay.
So, with Shannon, leaving the town hall, I'm not sure where that's gonna go
What
right
was
now.
her exact role?
She was a director.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
she's,
when did she depart?
I believe, 2 weeks ago-ish,
Okay.
just about.
All right. Paul, I can only see your eyes up.
Oh, sorry. I was listening to what I have some questions.
Sure.
Um,
All right, Paul, please.
well, I live in a community of mostly us old farts, and I don't identify anyone that I know as having onset of dementia, although
hmm
sometimes I feel like I am. But anyway, dementia is a very private, personal thing within a family setting, or even just singularly. So how do we encourage families who have those concerns to get involved in getting information on how to deal with it?
Well, I think through, medical facilities and through the community activities that they attend, it should be readily available. It is readily available in the senior center. But this training was also not only for the person with dementia, but if you interact with someone, you have that as something that you can keep in mind and how
Yeah.
to react and assist the person.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what I took from the training is, keeping that kind of in the forefront that maybe this person needs the extra assistance and how do you interact with a person with dementia. I think it was just if you've never been around someone, just the awareness.
Right, right. And
And
in
I
my
don't,
professional life as a hairdresser, I ran into, or it's not the right term, I did have clients who were demented and their families were aware of it. But the hardest thing for them, the family members, was to keep from getting angry.
Mhm.
And a few times I had a dear friend whose mother was also a client, and she was a client. And now and then the daughter would say, "Mother, you know you have that in the refrigerator already, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to caution her and say, getting angry at her is not going to solve the problem. She really believes that she needs this item.
Yeah, so the formal training, which I can also get and publish, I believe, on the website, actually speaks to that on kind of a few do's and don'ts. Don't try to say, "Don't you remember
Yeah,
Sally was
that's
there in this
all of that
picture?"
stuff is just silly,
Yeah,
you know.
so and I think the medical world should be educating, the caregivers and, on those types of things, but
Yeah.
I mean, and when you go out into the world, generally, I'm not sure, like grocery stores, things, drugstores, the pharmacy, maybe to have the information and say,
Sure.
hey, do you have dementia or do you care for somebody with it? This is the information you can find to deal with it and to interact positively and it's acceptance also for the caregivers. So.
Yeah. And years
They,
ago,
yeah, they go on with that.
when I was in my formative years of 20s, um, it was called senility. And I worked in a salon where we had mostly elderly people as clients. And every now and then there was a client who was definitely senile and had dementia, and nobody knew how to deal with it, including the family members. So I'm glad at least today there's a proactive move to help people with dementia and to help families who have members of their families who have dementia.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Tracy, and I know you can't speak for the Council on Aging or Senior Center, but working in town hall, I know that the Senior Center on the website advertises that they the services are there for people with disabilities regardless of age, compared to the general population of 60 plus is typically the age group for those who would go to the senior center and or be eligible for the senior van to go to medical appointments and such. So, um, is it something where, you found that you've directed people toward the Council on Aging, even though they're not aged, if there's a concern?
So the overview on the Council on Aging, it states that the Grafton Senior Center serves older adults age 60 and older and their
Okay.
spouses, significant others.
And
I would say that if there is something that I think that the senior center could assist someone, no matter what age they are, I would send them there. And I think that they would be able to get the information.
all right. And what I was looking at is on the Council on Aging overview and mission statement. This is the Grafton on the mission statement. Um, the Grafton Senior Center serves older persons, disabled persons of all ages, and their caregivers.
Hmm.
Is a that front end statement within the larger mission statement. And so, um, I didn't know it to what extent I mean, there's only so many resources to go around, but their mission statement is more encompassing than 60 plus.
Correct. So I think connecting the information that somebody needs is the most important. So if you're dealing with those types, you know, I help people with things that are not building department related every
Right,
day.
right.
So I don't think we would say, oh, you appear to be too young to go to the senior center to get this information. Just, you know who to contact, you know who to talk to, go down the hall and I'll show you where they are and we're pretty helpful. So,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to guess a 60 or a 59-year-old person
Right,
either.
right.
So, and then the caregivers, I mean, I'm sure they're very helpful to
Right.
everyone.
As far as information and referral, I mean, it's not a quote unquote treatment center, but I'm sure that there's plenty of expertise to help
Yeah,
out with information and referral.
yeah. Put people in touch with the right people.
Right. All right. All right. And all right, thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome. And I can get more information. And I think, thinking about the presentation at the library to become dementia friendly
Mhm.
certified,
Yeah,
we can still keep that on the docket once they do have a new, well, new library.
Katrina. Yeah,
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 so there is a transition. So I think she's, give her a couple weeks to settle in and before we go on over there.
yes. But she's been very welcoming to
Yeah,
meeting everyone within the
yeah,
community. So Katrina's awesome.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
awesome. All right, thank you. So let's move forward to meeting minutes for the most recent meeting of November 18th, 2025. Do I have a motion to accept the draft
Make the
minutes
motion.
from that? All right, Paul, motion made. Do I have a second?
And I'll second.
All right, motion made by Paul, seconded by Christie. Do I have any discussion on the motion? All right, I had one comment, just a brief clarifying. Excuse me, under the meeting minutes of August 13th, you had put a line through it because we'd actually already voted on the meeting that didn't occur. In other words, there were the oxymoron of approving minutes of a non-meeting that we had previously approved those that August 13th on 10/14 of 25. So just so there's no question or the need to cross-reference, I would like to that to reference. I'm not sure if it would require you to remove the cross out, but to add that AAC already voted on these during our meeting of 10/14 of 25, while still saying that the meeting did not occur, but we acknowledged it through meeting minutes during the prior meeting of 10/14 of 25. So no one can read these just in a bubble and think that we didn't address this. Because even meetings that didn't occur that were posted, we still need to address those meeting minutes. And so I would like to see 3A somehow affirmatively say that this was already addressed during our prior meeting of 10/14/25. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that was my bad in that I overlooked removing it in the agenda. So from last month.
It's okay. We forgive you.
All right, thank you. Do I get a fine? Do I get fined for that?
No,
Any.
you get a reward.
I get a
Yeah.
reward. There you go. Okay, any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor by roll call. Christie,
Hi.
Paul,
Aye.
Tracy,
I,
Catherine,
Aye.
Roger, I declare the motion carried unanimously 5-0. All right. Agenda item 6, old business. I'm still working on these 9 sets. I'm living in a paper jungle, but there's my pile. I actually have like 3 piles of our committee, our commission meeting minutes and agendas that I need to look through. I can't imagine that there are 9 sets that we didn't get to. All right. That most of them were from 20 and 21. So I just kept that as a placeholder just so it was in my face that I needed to do it. The ADA old business 6B, ADA self-evaluation and transition plans. municipal and school. I know, Tracy, you're,
I found
know,
it. I located it.
yeah. And so you've been, so do you have the Excel document?
Yes.
Oh,
I
awesome.
think I sent it to you.
Oh,
Didn't I send it to you?
I think you did. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, you did.
That's okay.
And so now was the ramp wasn't on it at the time, correct? Because that it wasn't in a state of demise at that time. That was in 2019.
Yeah, so the ramp, it was replaced in 2019 to 2020,
Okay,
and it looked pretty good when it went in.
right. All right. So, um, all right. So I included in parentheses municipal and school. And so I know that, and I'm guessing it was like 2022-ish that the school district had one. And I spoke with the superintendent this afternoon, and he's going to get me uh, a copy of that and or have it back up on the website. I guess the school district uh, had some web changes, and I guess not everything migrated over because I recall that that document was somewhere on that website. And so that should be back up there soon. And if not, I hope to have the actual document there. And as far as their FY27 budget, uh, superintendent will get further detail on a breakdown of what had been the school district had one of the gentlemen business manager role had been in front of the select board and had mentioned that FY27 was going to include $200,000 in capital items. But during that discussion, that was just high level. So I should also, superintendent was also going to present a breakdown of what those items were. So we know, and we can advocate for them at town meeting, in advance of town meeting as part of the capital plan. So, so I'll just revisit this. We can revisit this as an ongoing whole business item, at least during our next meeting. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. And then any other old business, I just put that as a placeholder. If anyone can recall any items that we may want to revisit. I know that I guess Grafton Celebrates the Holidays happened over the weekend, and I guess it was very well attended. That's a great community event. I, there was a technical glitch with the link. The online link was broken to the Frosty Stops, so that was on the day itself. As far as the, I guess the QR code. Anyway, but the rec department always does a great job with that. So, moving on to new business, agenda item 7, our 2025 annual report, which is due toward the end of 2026, January 26. I'll probably be receiving from the town administrator's office, as all committee chairs will be, the sort of deadline for that. So I'll start putting that together based on last year's report. I know that who put that together? Was it Alexis and one other person? Who put last year's together? I mean, I have prior years Word documents, so I don't need an edit. I already have editable documents, so I'll put that together. Excuse me, and I will distribute it in advance of our January meeting. Okay, so we can vote on any, recommended changes. So,
Roger, if you need help with that, let me
okay.
know.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, that's always, it's interesting. There's a certain it's tedious. It's a task, but it's kind of fun because like it's a historic document too. So we get to really capture what we do. And
Well, it would be fun to, I don't, this is terrible to admit, but I would rather see some of our photos go in from the National Night Out
oh
and
yeah,
just have it be all content, not that it's in color or anything, but I think it's always nice to show and market us as being out in the community and doing stuff.
okay. Yeah, especially with the adaptive tennis, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
Um yeah, there are various photos within the town report that I've seen. And I think that would be nice. So I don't know where are those housed? Who took the pictures? Where are those housed?
I
And we'll
have
turn them
them.
into black. All right, and so we'll turn them into
So I'll
black and
help
white.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so in turning them to black and white and then toy around with the highlights and how dark and light things can sometimes get washed out. So yeah, that would be a great enhancement to what we've typically done. So, all right. Anyone else have any new business items? All right. Our next meeting, moving on to agenda item 8. Our next meeting is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Sounds so futuristic, huh? 6:30 p.m. So I hope everyone has before I accept the motion to adjourn, I hope everyone has a good holiday, whatever holiday you may celebrate, and a happy new year too. So I
Yes.
will,
You
yeah,
also.
thank you.
Yes.
And so I will accept the motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
All right. Who seconds that?
I'll second.
All right. See, I was just waiting for that, Catherine.
I thought I'd fight Catherine.
Yeah, right, right.
Good for
I
you,
would have
Catherine. You're back
ignored
in
you,
the
Christy.
game.
I would have ignored you,
Yeah.
Christy. I would have recognized Catherine.
Yeah.
So motion made by Paul, seconded by Catherine to adjourn. All those in favor by roll call. Christy,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Tracy,
Bye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Roger, I declare the motion carried unanimously, 5-0. This meeting is adjourned at 8:11 p.m.